Chicago Cubs, 2007 NL Central Champs, by Jill Eisanagule.
Fly ball with any depth to it wins it. Up in the air, and that will do it. Deep to center for Soriano. Got a grand slam! They only needed one. They got four. They win it 5-1. He started the night 0 for 5. And he puts a huge exclamation point on this one.
The north side of Chicago and its storied franchise can smile neath the glory of hope-filled blue skies. The Cubs have secured their division's crown and will bring the playoffs back to old She-Town. Their regular season had its highs and lows. Nonetheless, the Cubs battled. From the hardships they rose. Their season began with the spring training camps. Now the Cubs are proud NL Central champs. With Lou as their captain, the Cubbies set sail, their hearts and their minds certain they would prevail. De and DeRosa, Ramirez and Floyd showed strength the other teams could not avoid. Throughout this long season, the Cubs held their own. Now, atop the Central, they sit all alone. The divisional pennant would soon be unfurled, but the Cubs long to prove they're the best in the world. Once again, the Cubs have reached the postseason. Their minds are determined, their hearts have a reason to rise from the shadows of their storied past and make every inning better than the last. As the Cubs chase greatness and their series dream, generations of Cubs fans stand behind the team. Good luck to the Cubs, may your team persevere, so we can finally say that next year is here.
This poem has a lot of meaning to me because, for starters, I'm a huge Cubs fan. The Cubs have always had a past full of disappointment as they have not won a World Series in 102 years. This poem used very good imagery to bring back memories of that season. Like when the poem talks about the ups and downs, I remember actually being at the game when the Cubs' third baseman got injured. This poem is also important to me because my dad used to work with the Chicago Cubs, so in a way, I look at the Cubs as an extension of my family and I. When the Cubs ended in last place in 2006, it made me have no hope for the 2007 season. Then, they made many new improvements with a new manager and new players. I think what the situation represents and what the author is trying to say is that anything can happen if you put your mind to it and try hard. This relates to me because in the past baseball season, I and many of my teammates had not played together ever before. It was an entirely new team, and we believed we would be a horrible team. We, like the 2007 Chicago Cubs, battled through the season, won most of our games, and ended up winning the Eastern New York Championship. This poem is also important to me because I remember that day, watching the game, 100% focused on every pitch in the last inning, my heart pounding. I remember the final out, and I remember the celebration. That day was a day I would never forget. Personally, my favorite line in the poem is so we can finally say that next year is here. This is my favorite line because after every baseball season, I find myself telling someone, Cubs will win it all next year, or next year is our year, but it hasn't happened. And this line makes me think of how great it would be when the Cubs win the 2010 World Series.